Hi, I'm Steve Alexander. I'm going to be riding in the 2016 Cannonball with this 1913 Douglas. I actually acquired this just as the 2014 Cannonball was completing. I got it from the estate of Gene Alcott Sr. He was known as Mr. Vincent USA. He actually established the first Vincent dealership in the United States. Gene was very much into antique bikes. This was one in his private collection, and I was able to get it from the estate. And it's quite a interesting bike. It's fairly preserved and original. It's actually registered with the Sunbeam Motorcycle Club in London. It's a Pioneer bike. So it's capable of going on the Pioneer run. The registration tag is actually original, and many of the components are original. Douglas had a opposing twin. Actually, the Ferry Motorcycle Company was the predecessor, and many think that they were actually the ones that created the Boxer design. But instead of side to side like you'd see in a BMW or a Zundap, they've actually gone front to back to help stabilize the ride in the bike. Quite innovative. Again, this bike, fairly original. Bosch magneto. The actual magneto switched to EIC at the outbreak of World War I because of supply, obviously from Germany. So EIC started to become the magneto post 1913 into 1914, 1915, I believe. Done quite a bit of research, but still have much to do. External flywheel, so similar to Moto Guzzi. It's a chain primary, and then a 2-speed gearbox, no clutch, with a belt drive with a spoke-mounted hub on the back. The selector up here is a low and high with a neutral in between, but again, no clutch. So you have to paddle start it, not pedal start it, but paddle start it. And then you can compression release. This is actually the compression release, and then that allows you to go from low to high. It actually also aids in the starting. So you put it in low, you compression release, you walk along with it. As it begins to fire, then you drop the compression release, and off you go, and you hop aboard. It also has a oil loss system, total system loss. So it's a plunger with leather bellows, and then you adjust the dripping through the sight glass for the speed and RPM that you're actually running the motor. So you always have to be mindful of that. These motors were actually initially generator motors, so they actually are quite suited for sustained RPM speeds. So this bike approximately has about a 50 mile an hour top speed. I think some of the racers actually topped 55, closer to 60. So about a 40 mile an hour cruise on this bike should be obtainable, and these motors are well suited for it, because they were a long cycle or a sustained designed motor. Acetylene generator. So this was where you put the carbide, I believe, and water, and it would drip, and then acetylene would be formed, and of course your brass headlamp and tail lamps would then be lit. We'll obviously be upgrading those probably to battery LED. It actually even has the original tire pump still strapped onto the luggage carrier. So really excited about the Cannonball. We have a lot of work to do on this bike, certainly. It was quite a dilemma on whether to leave it original since it's a survivor. But as you can see, most of the original paint and lettering is gone. So we're going to probably remove a lot of the original parts to use as templates. So we'll probably make a new fuel tank. These fuel tanks are actually notorious. There's a divider inside of here between the gasoline and the oil, and they're notorious for cracking. They were brazed in, and they'll leak, and your oil and fuel would mix together and ruin your motor. So I'll probably redesign a tank that actually has separate reservoirs for fuel and oil so that there's no opportunity for those to mix. Again, a lot to do. We're going to try to leave it as close to original as possible for the run, but clincher tires and old-fashioned brakes can be pretty dangerous. So we'll probably look at some enhancements there to make the bike a little bit more safe and durable to ride. So looking forward to the run. Again, Steve Alexander. I'll be piloting this 1913 Douglas. Oh, and one last thing. It's always nice when the bike that you buy comes with a little bit of hardware. I think you guys might find this interesting. It's actually an AMCA Junior First Place, Ole, 1993. So this bike has been around for a while. I actually have some pictures that I got from the estate going back to about 1977 on this bike, and interestingly, the paint and the condition of the bike in 1977 is almost exactly as you see it here today. So quite an interesting bike. I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to pilot this thing across the continent.